Hey everyone, it's Stephanie from Stephanie, Sherry, and now Caitlin. That's right, if you watch my mommy channel, you'll know that Caitlin is now 1, which means she's officially a toddler. It's big news for us. So what we're talking about this topic is holiday traditions and gifts with your kids. Now with us, we've been trying to establish traditions with our family, but this will be the first Christmas where we actually have our whole family at home. Like I said, if you watch my mommy channel, you'll know that last year we had Caitlin in the hospital for Christmas, so we actually ended up having to do a hospital Christmas with her, plus everything else. So it's this will be the first year where we actually get to do like all of our stuff as a whole family in one place type of thing. So I'm excited. This is gonna be a big deal for us. Not having to deal with the whole NICU, hospital, Caitlin thing. So, and as much as, like, the hospital wasn't a bad place for her Christmas, like, the nurses were awesome, they brought gifts and everything for her, but still, it's not the same. So this year will be exciting for everyone. So what we do for our traditions, or what we're trying to do for our traditions, is we have to have several different Christmases set up for our family. And that's just because my parents are divorced. They've been divorced since I was a little girl. I was probably 5 when they separated. And Andrew's parents divorced 6 or 7 years ago? No, longer than that. It would have been maybe 8 or 9 years ago they got divorced. So what that means for us is that we have 4 different parents to separate our Christmases into. And it's a lot of work. And it is exhausting, and if anyone is on my Facebook or watches my other vlogs, you know how much of a pain in the butt it is to juggle that many families for anything. I have some good rants with people over birthday parties about this because I can't have everyone in one room because no one gets along. But so anyway, that makes our Christmas a little more difficult. What we have sort of set up for ourselves is that first thing in the morning, we get up with the girls, and we'll do presents at home with the girls. Usually for something like last year with that, we let Sherry have some of the stocking, or some of the chocolate that Santa brought her in her stocking for breakfast. Healthy, I know, but when I was a kid, I always got treats for breakfast on Christmas, so I'm kind of passing that on to my girls. And then, so we do breakfast, like, we do gifts and, like, small snack at home. And then what we're trying to do is go to my father's for brunch every year. Like I said, we're juggling a whole bunch of families for Christmas, and it's a royal pain in the butt. Anyone who has parents who are divorced with families that don't get along, and, like, you know what this is like. It sucks. It's exhausting. But we try and make it as easy as possible. Like I said, so after we do our presents and stuff at home, we usually try and go to my dad's. He does a big brunch. Like, some of the best food I've ever eaten. You've got homemade meat pies. You have wife's favorite breakfast, which, if anyone doesn't know what it is, it's like the best egg casserole thing ever. So good. If I can find the recipe for it, I'll post it one day on my main channel because it's so delicious. You have fresh fruit. You get toast, bagels, all sorts of that good stuff. What's wrong with my screen all of a sudden? Anyway, you get all sorts of that good stuff, and it's awesome. I love it. And then we do gifts there. In the early afternoon after we eat, we go and we do presents there. Depending on the year, sometimes it's at my dad's place. Sometimes it's at my grandparents'. It greatly depends on the year. My grandparents used to do the brunch themselves, but now my dad has a big house. He kind of wants to take that on himself. Which is fine. I have no problems with that. So it depends. We usually, yeah, I'll get into it later. But so we'll do our gifts with my dad, depending on what the year holds. Like I said, we juggle everyone. So every 3 years, we hit one of our parents. So, like, this year, this Christmas coming up, we're spending the, like, supper with Andrew's mom. And then next year I'll be supper with my family, or my dad's family. And the year after that I'll be Andrew's dad. So if it's a year that we're with my dad for dinner as well, we'll do the brunch at his place, and we usually go over to my grandparents. And that's usually where the big... Here, Sherry. And that's usually where the big Christmas dinner is. This year is different. They're not actually home for Christmas. And my grandparents are wonderfully retired now. Good for them. So and since they've retired, they go to Yuma, Arizona every year for the winter. They have a lot there, and they park their fifth wheel, and they go and they enjoy some leisure time to themselves, which is awesome, and it's good for them, and they totally deserve it. So, like, that's awesome. But with that, they usually come home for Christmas. There's only been one other year where they didn't come home, and that was when I got married. And that's because I got married in February, and it was too expensive for them to fly back for Christmas and then fly back again in February for my wedding. So, and that year we just did Christmas in February. We did Christmas on Valentine's Day. It's kind of the way it worked out. But this year they're not coming back at all over the winter. They will be back probably March or April in the spring again. So it's kind of the way it's going to work this year. It sucks, but it's not the end of the world since we're not with my dad's family this year for Christmas dinner anyway. I'm not saying it makes it any less sucky. I like seeing my grandparents around Christmas anyway, but it is kind of what it is. Anyway, tangents. Oh, I don't remember where I was. But anyway, so like I said, this year we're doing Christmas dinner with Andrew's mom. So after brunch at my dad's place and opening gifts there, then we'll go out to Gibbons, a small town outside of where we live. And we'll do Christmas dinner there with his mom's side of the family, or his mom's family. I think it'll just be like his mom's boyfriend, his sisters, and us. Is I believe what's going to happen. I don't know for sure, but I'm not sure. I don't know if his sisters are going to be there or not, so... So either way, we'll be going out there for Christmas dinner and presents and stuff out there. And you guys might wonder how we handle that with only seeing our parents for Christmas every 3 years. For one thing, my mother gave up claim to Christmas Day years ago. The time that she and my dad split, I think she gave up claim to Christmas Day and Christmas dinner. Because we always had the tradition when we were kids of going to my grandparents. Always. So what she's done since basically her and my dad split up is that on Boxing Day, she has her Christmas then. And everyone goes over, we do presents and big turkey dinner and everything else on Boxing Day. And that works well for everyone because we all have a lot of family to juggle. It's a lot of work. So, and it just, like, that's the one day of the year she asks for. And I have no problem with that whatsoever. So that's how she does her Christmas. And then with whichever one of Andrew's parents we're not seeing for dinner, we try and make it happen so that we do an earlier Christmas dinner with them beforehand. So like this year we're doing Christmas dinner with his dad on the 17th. And it'll be us, his dad, his sisters, and we'll do our Christmas then. Just so that no one's left out of it. Like, it's... And usually what else happens is that we'll do Christmas Eve with someone one year and someone else another. It depends. Just so we make sure we see everyone around Christmas time. Otherwise, it's hard if you don't get to see everyone all the time. We are lucky enough that that our parents live nearby for all of us. We're all within an hour of each other, whether that be in the city or outside. So it's not like we can't see them. It's just it's hard to juggle everyone. But so in terms of like traditions and where we go, that's kind of how we work. We just rotate every Christmas, like every year. We rotate whose house we're at for dinner and who we're seeing for dinner, and then we can just kind of go from there. In terms of gifts, I gotta wrap this up because it's already 10 minutes long. My goodness. Okay. In terms of gifts, I'm not gonna go into what we're getting Sherry because she's sitting playing with Play-Doh right now, and she remembers everything when it comes to that sort of stuff. We bought her birthday gift like 2 months in advance with her with us, and she remembered what it was when we brought it downstairs for her to open. So we're not getting into specifics with her, but like generalized ideas. You just pay attention to what your kids like. If they're really into animals or if they're really into trains or something like that, get them stuff that has to do with that, and you'll know you love it. Clothing is always a good option. For family members who don't know what to get, clothing is always a good option because you can never have too much of it. Especially with how fast kids grow. Well, everyone's kids but mine, apparently. But it's always good to have clothes and things like that. And one idea for a family who just has a new baby or who will be having a new baby right after Christmas, or right around then, and we actually did that with Sherry last year, is we found a Graco playset. Like Graco as in the company that makes playpens and high chairs and strollers and car seats and everything else. They actually make doll-sized things too. And we found it at Walmart. It was fairly cheap, and we actually got a set that came with a playpen. Like they came with the actual carrying bag and everything. It had a playpen, a stroller, car seat, and then it was like a metal A-frame where you could either hang the car seat below it and make it into a swing, or you could clip the car seat on top of it and make it into the high chair. And it came with like the tray for the high chair, and it came with like mini soother and like mini baby things. And it's good for a toddler when it comes time for a new baby, because then when you're busy with the new baby, they have their stuff as well, and they can do the same things with their dolls. Better for a female than a male. Sorry to all of you with boy toddlers out there. But that's what Sherry got last year, actually. That was one of her big presents, and she loves it. She still loves it. It's so much fun for her, and I found it took away some of the jealousy issues, because she was really able to interact the same way I was interacting with Caitlin. But yeah, that's like my one awesome idea for parents who have a new baby around that time. Something to get your older kid involved. It feels it's something special for them, and it makes them feel like they're actually part of it. In terms of Caitlin, she's gonna be getting clothes and toys, basically. Depending on where she's developmentally, will greatly depend on her toys. She is at the age now where she's going to start catching up, milestone-wise. She's going to start catching up developmentally. She's a year old now, so she should be caught up within another year, but it involves, like I said, buying her gifts going to involve seeing where she is, development-wise, just so we know what she can play with, what she can't, what's age-appropriate, what's not. Shopping for a preemie is harder because you can't go by the age restrictions on a toy or on a box, because it could say that they're good from 12 months and up, but if your baby was born 3 months early, then they're technically 9 months old, and that toy wouldn't be completely appropriate for them. So it's a matter of seeing, in terms of gift buying, it's a matter of seeing what your kids are into, what they like, how far they are developmentally. That's always a big one to keep in mind, even with a toddler. Some toddlers grow up way faster than others and want to be playing with older toys, and some just want to play with blocks or things like that. So like I said, it all depends. In terms of gifts, just pay attention to your kids. They'll give you the best cues on what they'll want, what will be good for them. In terms of traditions, just try and make them your own. That's kind of what we're doing now. Oops. But I guess I'll talk to you guys all later. So, bye.